Before I begin, just want to mention that I will be streaming every night on Tuesday and Thursday. You can check out the timings on my Twitch channel. So join me to chat and have fun. If there's any other changes, I will announce it on my Discord channel. And most importantly, do remember to like and subscribe if you like my contents. Hey guys, so today marks 1 month into the league. Okay, if you want to be exact, it will be 1 month and 3 days. And in this video, I will be doing a meta report on the builds and classes that have been popular so far or that are currently popular. Okay, and I also will be talking slightly more on the top 3 classes and builds for the current trend of meta. Okay, and this is the meta breakdown of majority of the builds that is being played by each individual class. So you can see the dominance of the Necromancer, Occultist, and Deadeye. So for Necromancer, majority, I would say like 80% of it is just playing summon skeletons. There's really no other build that is being used so far, apart other than maybe some Animate Guardian and Karen Golem, and they are like just 1 digit percentage of it. Right, and Occultist has many other variants, so like COC Ice Spear, Ice Nova, Forbidden Rite, and you have the Cyclone Shockwave, which is the strength stacking chaos damage. You have the Blade Vortex as well, Winter Orb, and also Vortex. Right, so Occultist has more flexible skills, coverage. Okay, and Deadeye, the most popular will be Tornado Shot, followed up by some other skills as well, like Kinetic Blast, Lightning Arrow, Spectral Helix. They are still being used, but not as popular as Tornado Shot. And for Ascendant, we have Spark. Spark is basically your aura stacker, and there is this fake blood cost when damage taken. Okay, so this is actually a very interesting build. If you wish to find out, you can just go YouTube or just go Google it. You'll understand how it actually works. Basically, you don't do anything, you just walk and get hit, and everything will just shoot out to clear most of the monsters around you. Okay, and we have Winter Orb as well, and we have also Smite for Ascendant, which is the armor stacking build. Alright, so basically they just stack tons of armor, and then they have a lot of increased attack damage based on your armor. I think it's 1% per 450 armor, so they have like millions of armor just stacking damage upright. Okay, and for Raider, we are going to have Lightning Strike and Flicker Strike. I think these two has been so popular last league as well that it has brought over back to here. And then we have Inquisitor. So Inquisitor is the Righteous Fire. There is some that is playing Spark, and there's also some that is playing COC Ice Spear and Arc. So for Arc, instead of using Cosprey, they are actually using Melonia, which triggers lightning skill instead of triggering cold skills. Right, and Elementalist, we have the Explosive Arrow, which is popular at League Start, and then Volatile Dead, Blazing Salvo combined together, and you also have some of them playing Spark. Okay, so for Berserker, you have the Lightning Strike for very high damage, I guess. When you go Berserker, it's just all about damage. And then Generous Cry and Venom Gyre. So for Champion, it is the Corrupting Fever / Rip. They just combine both of these together. It has proven very well, and it is pretty popular as well. So next we have Spark Champion also. Okay, so some of you might think like, what is this champion doing with Spark? So I've actually explored some of the builds on POE Ninja, and they seem to be playing some sort of aura stacking with champion. Okay, and there is some that is also playing Explosive Arrow, so champion just makes it more tanky. And last will be Pathfinder. Pathfinder is just solely Poisonous Concoction. It has dropped a lot in player count for this, but the only thing I see in Pathfinder is just Poisonous Concoction. There's really no other skills being used. I think it dominates about 90%. Yeah, so that's about it, and the rest is not really, the rest of the classes are not really significantly popular in this league. Okay, so top 1 will be Necromancer. As you can see, the Necromancer takes up about 16% of the player population. This is just a rough estimate, And you can see I actually took a snapshot of the majority of the main skills being used by Necromancer. It's just purely dominated by summon skeletons, alright? The others is like what? Cremation, Animate Guardian, Summon Carrion Golem. So I assume that Animate Guardian is actually part of Summon Skeletons also, because how POE Ninja capture is that it captures the main skill in your body armor. Alright. Okay, and item choices wise, you can see that Ashes of the Star has been largely dominated as well. So this item has been introduced this league, and I personally felt that this item is just way too good and way too strong. Alright, the reason first being it gives you increased reservation efficiency of skills, which is not commonly found in a lot of items. And then secondly, it just gives you +1 to all skill gems. Alright, so first of all, you need to remember that this +1 to level of all skill gems only applies to active skill gems. Alright, they are not support skill gems. And then next will be, it applies 20 to 30% of quality to all the active skill gems. And this is what makes Ashes of the Star insane, because let's just say if you have summoned skeletons, the quality at 20% will mean 20% increased damage, right? So if you were to equip Ashes of the Star, that will mean additional 20%, and that will equal up to 40% increased skeleton damage. Alright, that is really, really a lot. So this also applies to all your other active skills, like all of your alternate quality skill gems. I will just give you some example. Maybe the Divergent Tempest Shield, where it gives you spell chance block. I think it's 4% at 20%. So if you were to equip Ashes of Star, this will mean it gives you 8% straight away. Right, this is just one of the example. There are a lot of other alternate skill gems that benefit so much from this Ashes of Star. Okay, so all in all, right, in the overview, majority of the Necromancer builds are just extremely tanky. Alright, you don't see it die very often. Even I'm playing it. The ES version is definitely the tankiest because of this Aura Aegis, the shield, where you get to heal instantly a percentage of your ES based on your current armor. I think it's 3% of your armor. So it heals instantly, alright? It's not regenerated over time. It just replenishes straight away. That's why it is very tanky. And the build is relatively easy to play. All you need to do is just summon your skeletons. They won't die. And then they will probably be like invulnerable for 4 seconds. And if they do die, you just need to summon again. Right? They are not something that you have a lot of hassle to do to just summon them again. They're not like Carrion Golems, or they're not like Spectres. Okay, so another good thing about this is you are using the skeletons as a frontline shield to block stuffs like projectiles or all of the stuff. As long as it doesn't penetrate or pierce, you are extremely safe. Alright, all the monsters will just hit the skeletons in front instead of you that's standing behind. And next will be, this build is just so easy to kill boss. You just need to summon your skeletons in the middle or just on top of them, and then run around basically to focus on dodging all the boss mechanics. You don't even need to bother about hitting the boss elsewhere, because the skeletons will just do the job for you. Right, that's why this build is so popular. I would say it's also very beginner friendly and user friendly. I have played it myself, and I personally think it's just too broken. Okay, number 2 will be Occultist. So Occultist takes about 15% of the player population. And from the snapshot, you can see that there are actually various builds like your COC, Blade Vortex, Winter Orb, and Vortex. And then item wise, I wouldn't say Watcher's Eye is very accurate, because who doesn't use Watcher's Eye in like mid to late game? Almost every class does. So Militant Fate is more or less a must, because you will use power charges, and with the Inner Conviction, you have a lot more spell damage. Dying Sun is purely more towards the projectiles. You can see a lot of the builds are just playing projectile skills. Alright, and then there you go, you have Ashes of the Stars again. This amulet is just too good, okay, trust me. It serves too much, it provides too much good stuffs, and you can't find this kind of, how do you say, this kind of mods on any other items. Alright, and then there will be Aegis Aura for builds that are playing more like skills towards more tankiness. Yeah, okay, so overview, right? I would say Occultist actually scales more towards late game. You know, when players have more currency to fund this type of characters, this class is really not for low budget. Like, in terms of low budget, I think only Vortex works well. Alright, other than that, it's not really suitable. You need to have some sort of currency or capital to actually fund up before it actually comes online and it scales really well. Otherwise, you won't even see it performing as well as what other content creators or streamers play it. Okay, and like I mentioned, there's a mixture of various builds, right? So there's the COC Ice Spear, Ice Nova, Forbidden Rite, and you have your Cyclone Shockwave, which is the strength stacking chaos damage, Blade Vortex, Winter Orb. Okay, I forget to include the Vortex as well. And this means, right, this class is actually quite healthy, where you have a various number of builds that you can play. It's not skewed towards just a single skill like Necromancer. And generally, the class just give more energy shield plus damage as compared to other classes, alright? And also, this includes the double curse incentive, where it allows you to inflict double curse on it. So, like example for the Ice Spear, the popular ones is to inflict Frostbite curse, which is your cold damage curse, and also Assassin's Marks, which give you crit multiplier and power charges, and also crit chance. Right, okay, and then this build is not really super tanky, okay. Most of the builds are not extremely tanky, but they're just sufficient enough to avoid getting one shot most of the time. So what I mean is that when you see rare monsters or unique monsters that are really, really powerful and strong, let's just say example, your Arch Nemesis, alright. So when you do the Arch Nemesis content, the fourth ingredient probably will make the monster really very strong, and there are chances for you to get one hit. So other than that, like your magic mobs or your normal white mobs, or even some of the lower not so powerful rare mobs, when they shoot spells or projectiles at you, most of the time you won't get one shot. Either you'll just heal back up, leash back up, regenerate back up, whatever you want, and you're good to go. Okay, number 3 will be Deadeye. So Deadeye serves about 12% of the player population, and from the snapshot you can see Tornado Shot has rise a lot in popularity, alright. Next will be like your Kinetic Blast, and then you still have your Lightning Arrow. Lightning Arrow is still very decent when you have lots of Inspired Learning or even Headhunter. It just clears super well as well. And then itemization choice, let's just skip the Watcher's Eye. You can see most of them are just using Headhunter. By now, there's a lot of players that have Headhunter, and then Crystallized Omniscience is the new in thing that most of the players are picking now. Okay, basically your item choices is all skewed towards basically bow builds, which is what the class excels in. Okay, and overview, right, the bow builds are just generally very fast and very high DPS mapper. Very hard to compare to other builds. So example like Flicker Strike. Yes, Flicker Strike is very fast as well, but it is within melee range. So Deadeye is a range character and is kind of like safer as compared to Flicker Strike. Okay, next will be the Crystallized Omniscience has become a very popular pick for bow builds. Like, all it does is stack attributes to cap your resistance and gain lots of elemental penetration, right? So, where is it? Yes, there's a penetrate 1% of elemental resistance per 10 Omniscience. You can see from the screenshot or the snapshot below. It is really, really good, alright? So, what people does is they usually stack up to 1000 Omniscience, and basically, yes, they have 100% penetration. Okay, this is really, really, really insane. And your attribute requirement can be satisfied by 15 to 25% of the Omniscience, which literally means you do not need attribute to equip your items. When you have about 1000, just 25% of it, 250 is more than enough, right? Okay, and most of the builds, right, are not tanky at all. Okay, they are totally not tanky. They are sort of like glass cannon, or I would say semi-glass cannon if you wish to go for some or more defensive layer, and they are very vulnerable to damage over time, basically your dot damage. So a very good example is you can just prepare to die if you get burn, bleed, and all the other dot stuff, including the cold dot. Like, you will die really fast if you don't leech fast enough. Alright, that's the downside of bow builds. Okay, and you can easily clear monsters that are off screen. So monsters that are not on your screen, right, when you walk to the next section of your screen or the portion of the map, you'll see like just corpse on the floor. Like, you won't even realize that they existed there. Sometimes you might even think this is like one of the land, what do you call it, the land land texture or something like that. Yeah, you won't even see it coming. So that's the nice part about this build. Okay, so just a quick conclusion. You can basically see a huge drop in numbers of players playing explosive arrow, alright? Even I myself was very skeptical about it. Like, when I actually tried it just briefly, I already know that it's not extremely well. So I think it's just, I'm not sure, streamers influence, content creator influence. Like, I tried it and I really don't see the impact of explosive arrows, especially when you need to wait for the arrows to explode with the delay duration. Okay, and Necromancer's Common Skeleton just remain as one of the top contenders of this league. It is really surprising. Okay, usually like more late into the league, you'll start to see Occultist or other classes rising, and those early game builds you will start to see drop, but that's not the situation for Necromancer Skeletons, right? This also can highly likely mean that it's gonna get nerfed next league. Okay, and Occultist continues to dominate the meta when it comes to 1 mana into a league. It just scales very well when you have more currency to invest in your character. This is just a no-brainer. And then you have your Deadeye Raider and Ascendant. It just raised up to the top 5 most played class as people start to explore more powerful variants of the different builds. So technically, this is also affected by those popular streamers or content creators like Somyet, Path of Math. They actually introduced the Tornado Shot, right? The Omniscience Tornado Shot with the Trinity and stuff. It just became so popular like out of sudden. Okay, and then your Trickster, Chieftain, Juggernaut, Guardian really needs a major revamp, rework, as nearly almost no one plays it at all. Okay, so here you can see I have a snapshot of the current class that's being played. You can see it's really bad. Okay, so Juggernaut, Chieftain, Trickster. Okay, Guardian still have a little bit of percentage, but this 3 class is just really bad. Especially Trickster is it's non-existent. Right, who even plays this class now? And the builds that are being played are like what? Essence Drain, Toxic Rain. They are very old builds. This class really needs a good revamp, man. The previous revamp that was done on Trickster has not been very helpful at all. Okay, and last, I will say the most significant change will be the Deadeye Tornado Shot, where players takes more interest in mapping juicy contents towards the late games, like farming insane amount of exhaust per hour. They do like what, Delirium, Beyond, Legion, what is that still, Abyss. All of the mechanics just come together and just makes your map super juicy. You're gonna drop lots of stuffs. Okay, and Deadeye actually has the capability to do that with either your Headhunter or Inspire Learning. You don't really have to scale so much damage on it. It just works very well. Okay, and guys, these are strictly based on what I have observed within the past 1 month and based on information I have obtained from POE Ninja. Okay, if there's anything you would like to comment, feel free to write in the comment section below, or you can also hop over to my Discord channel hideout and let me know. It's basically a chat channel for casual players to mingle around or ask any questions. Okay guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!